Okay, so um, we are going to get started today. I'm sorry if I sound a little bit nasally. I'm not uh, feeling the best. Well, I mean, I'm feeling okay. I just have a bit of a cold, so my nose is a little bit stuffed up, and I apologize for that. However, I'm super excited to share this info with you today. I'm just going to go ahead. Actually, let me go here and do this, and then I'll say this. Um, and just let you know that there is a handout with this training today. So feel free to grab that from the Facebook group. I've just posted it up there. So it's all up there for you so that you can go ahead and check that out. Now, I don't know. Hold on a sec. I never share this properly. um, let's see. Let's go into this and go back to here. Okay, lovely. Just gonna do that, and I'll do that, and I will do that. Perfect. Okay. So today's habit, we're on habit number 4, which is super awesome. We're gonna be working on this for the next 2 weeks, and it is vegetables, 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 and fruit for some of you. But for most of us, what we're gonna be really focusing on is the vegetables. Okay. Oh, I hope that. Okay. So, oh my gosh, I was having a problem with. Don't know how this training is going to work today because um, my computer has been not. Oh, there we go. Okay, hopefully this works. We're going to go through a nutrition checklist today. Okay, so we've been working on our habits for several weeks now, and this is just another way to ensure that we really get it under our belts. Okay. So first of all, we're going to develop a SMART goal. So if anybody has not heard of doing SMART goals yet, I think you may be, under a rock or something, but I'll teach you a little bit about that. If you've never heard about a SMART goal before, we're going to identify your current status. So this is where you're at, right? So many of us have a hard time really dealing with where we're at currently because it causes pain and we feel so uncomfortable and stuff. But the truth is that we really need to know where we're at so we know how to get where we want to be, right? So taking your weight or your measurements or pictures are my favorite way of monitoring progress because as we all know, weight fluctuates like crazy, and sometimes we put on muscle, sometimes we're losing fat, sometimes it's around your period and you're just 5 pounds heavier. So that's not always the greatest way, but measurements and pictures are usually pretty awesome to do that. We're going to identify your starting point with this habit. So where are you at with your vegetables? Are you somebody who does this quite often, or is this super new to you? We're going to evaluate the biggest obstacle that's keeping you from achieving the results that you really want at this very moment, right? So it's not what happened last month or last year. It's what's going on with you right now. We're going to determine one strategic change that you will implement to correct whatever is happening, okay? And we're going to commit to making this change because that's the only way that we actually will be able to do things is if we give ourselves that commitment, and we're going to create an accountability structure, okay? So our goal is to hit 80% of what we want to do, okay? So that in 14 days, we'll have nailed this habit and we can move on to habit number 5, okay? So what is a SMART goal? This little picture over here, describes one version of what a SMART goal is, but I like going through multiple versions, right? So let's go with S. It can be specific, significant, or something that stretches you as a person, right? If you're just doing something that's fairly easy to you, it might not necessarily get you new results, right? If you do the same old thing, you're going to get the same old thing. Measurable, meaningful, right? It can be something that's measurable, it could be significant, but if it doesn't mean anything to you, you're not going to work towards it, right? It's got to be motivational for you. Something that's agreed upon. So that it's something you actually want to do, that is attainable for you, achievable, acceptable to you, right? If you're talking to somebody else about something, or, somebody might have another idea about what you should do, but if it's not acceptable to you, you're not going to do it. And it mostly has to be action oriented, okay? It's got to be something where you can actually take steps towards achieving it. What is realistic and what is relevant, right? As I said before, it's not something that might have mattered to you a year ago. What matters to you right now? What's reasonable to you right now? What is rewarding and what is results oriented, okay? We really want to be getting somewhere, not just a floofy kind of goal, right? T is we have to put a time limit on it, otherwise we're leaving it up to chance. So it's got to be time bound, timely, something that we can track, okay? So let's do it right now. Something that is specific, significant, and stretches you. It could be a weight goal, could be a journaling goal, and that can be just journaling your food, your gratitude, your intentions every day. So you walk forward with positive intentions that are aligned with what you want. It can be an exercise goal. I will lift 30 pounds for 10 reps over my head or something, right? Like something you've never done before. It could be inches lost. It can be a habit. For example, I will eat vegetables with every single meal. Measurable, meaningful, motivational. I will fit into my pink dress or whatever you might have, or get down 2 dress sizes. I will see my abs. I will lose 3 inches off my waist. I will do morning cardio. I did my morning cardio this morning. It was great. 5 times a week, and check it off my checklist. By a certain date, right? Make sure you have the date always in mind when you're thinking about this, because that is going to correlate with what is attainable, what is achievable, right? What you can agree upon doing in a certain amount of time. So what are these things? What can you take action on right now? Not something that you'll do, when you're ready, or when you have this or that, or when you feel motivated. We all know that that doesn't happen. It needs to be something that you can actually take a step today, no matter how small, to move towards it. Okay, so what's realistic and what is relevant? What is relevant to you right now, right? This matters so much. What would feel rewarding? Okay, this is a big one. Here's why. We reward ourselves with food, okay, with laziness, right? With giving ourselves permission because we're tired, to make poor food choices, or to just sit on the couch, not do a workout for the day. So what is an actual reward, right? Because ultimately that food and that laziness doesn't feel that rewarding afterwards, right? You do it in the moment, and afterwards it really isn't a reward. It makes you feel worse. So what is the result that you really want? It's got to be results oriented. So you got to pick a result you actually want, not something you think you want, something you really, really want, okay? What is relevant right now? Right now. Okay, it's not everything or the huge big picture. It's actually what's going to make a difference in your life right at this exact moment, right? So from our calls last week, everyone was saying, I need help. My head is just not in it. My head is not in it. I don't know where my head's at, right? There's no motivation, no willpower. And here's my question, right? If you want it, whatever that goal is, why are you doing this? Or, sorry, if you don't want it, right? If your head isn't in it, why are you doing this? Why do you show up every day? Why do you make, book calls and stuff if you don't want it? If your head isn't in it, why are you taking these little steps, right? Because to you, it's saying my head isn't in it. But to me, it says, you are so committed, you've booked a phone call because you know that you need that right now. And that's the step that you need today. So it's not that your mind isn't in it, your head's in it all the time. Whether that's in a positive way or a negative way because you feel uncomfortable or guilty, your head is still in it all the time. And what we do when we say our head isn't in it, it's really just giving yourself permission to be overwhelmed, right? By maybe what I'm asking you to do, or just what life is throwing at you right now, right? You need to be able to take small, actionable steps. And this is what these goals are about. For example, what's relevant? If your lunches are a problem cooking, 5 chicken breasts off on a Sunday is perfect. Waking up and just doing 5 flights of stairs in the morning before you even go pee is perfect, right? It doesn't have to be 4 strength workouts this week, 2 HIIT workouts, protein in every meal, veg at every meal, calorie counting, bed at 8, up at 4:30, recovery bath, drinks, supplements, extra cardio, etc. It doesn't need to be that, because that's not relevant to you, unless it is. Some people, they're in that space and they can dedicate that amount of time, and that's where they're at. But it has to be what's relevant to you right now. And if you're in this crazy place where there's all of this stuff that's getting in the way and you're saying your head isn't in it, but you're still here and you're still showing up, then remember, you're just not making goals and small actionable choices that are relevant to you right now. Okay, so you got to think about that in the moment. So it's time-based. Okay, what's timely? Don't say, I might like to lose some weight or gain some muscle this summer or winter if you're in New Zealand, or maybe be able to lift more weights or get stronger or something. That's not time-based. You got to say how much, by when, and make it soon. Okay? Set that for soon, because you will be able to achieve it if you set it for soon. But if you just say at some point, you'll never get there. Okay? So now that we've got over that and talked about those SMART goals, let's get into habit number 4, which is an amazing way to achieve goals, especially when it comes to fat loss, okay, or improving your nutritional profile. So if you are currently pregnant or recovering from pregnancy, we really want to have an amazing nutritional profile. So what I mean by that is getting all of the vitamins, nutrients, macros, everything that we need in this expanded sort of way. So you're not just eating one thing and only getting certain nutrients all the time, okay? So we are doing fruit and vegetable, I should say, or I guess and, with every meal. Now remember, vegetables equals a fist, and fruits, because it is carbs, equals your cupped handful. Okay, there's the difference there. So remember the ratios from last week. We were talking about this last week when it comes to your body type and how much veg to eat versus fruit. So if you are an endomorph, so the one on the very far right, you're eating 5 vegetables to every 1 fruit. And ideally, you're going to keep that fruit to directly after your workout, so right post-workout, okay? Mesomorph, it's 4 to 1. So lots of vegetables still if you're a mesomorph. And ectomorph, you can afford to have more carbs, remember, more sugar. So you guys can have a 3 to 1 ratio of vegetables to fruit, right? So how do you do this? It's easy. It truly is easy to get a lot of vegetables into your day, but you do have to be open-minded, right? And I love this quote, only the open-minded get to experience the world from many perspectives. I catch myself doing this a lot, thinking I know what is best, and then 2 minutes into a conversation with somebody who has another opinion, I go, oh, maybe there's more than one way, right? So let's go in and dive into this. So many people say that eating fruit and vegetables is too hard. It's too hard. Where do I get them, right? Well, why? Why is it too hard? Because they say that it is. Anything that you say is difficult is going to be difficult because you've already said that that's what it is, right? Vegetables are just as accessible as chips. Fruit is just as accessible as granola bars. There are tons. You don't have to cook or prep or do anything to before you eat them, right? There are also multiple flavors and cooking methods for those that are picky, right? Not everything tastes exactly the same or feels the same way in your mouth. And there are always supplement options for when you just can't, okay? So if it is still too hard, after knowing all that, you have to go back to what your goals were. And that's why I brought that up before this, because it's super important to know what your goals are. Because if, you've got some kind of mental block about adding, not taking away, but adding something to your diet, you have to go back and see how much you want it, when you want it by, okay? That is the only thing that is going to drive you to really get this into your day. Because you didn't do the exercise with me if you think that grabbing a red pepper is simply too much for you to do, right? I think we can all agree with that. It's not hard at all. I'm going to give you some easy options though anyways, okay? So many of you guys actually were the ones that brought this up to me, is that you can just go online. In many grocery stores, you can just pick what you want beforehand. They get it all ready for you and you go pick it up, right? So if it's too time consuming to walk through the vegetable aisles, all you have to do is click and order your groceries before you go, all right? Put the veg front and center in your fridge, okay? If it's hiding at the very back or if it's in a drawer somewhere, you're never going to see it. And it's not going to be one of those things that you get reminded of every day if it's not already a habit for you. Buy them and shop them right away. And for this one, I got to say no exceptions, because so many people say they just don't have the time. But if you're already grocery shopping and, putting the vegetables away, it literally takes like maybe 10 extra minutes, maybe, to get all of that done. You can get it done super fast, okay? And you got to think about how you love them. How do you love your vegetables? I love roasted vegetables or barbecuing vegetables and stuff. That is delicious. Do you like them with hummus? Do you like them blended or pureed, right? Like a cauliflower puree or something. It really does matter that you love what you're eating, okay? You don't only have to eat, celery and carrot sticks. You can actually have stuff that you love. You just have to open your mind a little bit. Always make extra at night. So whatever you're cooking vegetable-wise at night, make extra. Eat extra at night and also make extra so you have some for the next day. Eat them for breakfast. I gotta say no exceptions for this one too. How do you do that? I choose, oh my gosh. I always have frozen vegetables, I gotta be honest, in the morning because I don't like to prep them in the morning. I like it easy, so they're already washed, they're chopped, they're everything. All you gotta do is heat them up, throw some coconut oil and some sea salt, and you're good to go. It takes literally 2.5 minutes, okay? Drink them, smoothie them. I know you guys love your smoothies. I've given you lots of recipes. Ask me if you need them in order to get your vegetables in, and eat salad. Right? It's always an option. Every time you go out, salad is always an option, and just get one with tons of vegetables and you're good to go, right? Choose vegetables instead of crackers, wraps, breads, buns, all of that kind of stuff. It's always an option as well. Even if you're out and you're getting like a cheese board or something, I love to have like sliced fruit or pair with cheese boards. You can ask for that. Don't be afraid to ask. If something's available, you will get it. Buy frozen, buy frozen. I can't say this enough. It's so easy. Some people have hang-ups with getting frozen, but it's such a great go-to. It takes no time at all, and you can just pop them in. Like I said, it takes 2.5 minutes, and you are set, okay? Super easy options. Where do you find them? So you can supplement with greens and reds daily if you're not getting enough vegetables, or you don't think your sources of vegetables are very high quality, okay? If you drink them together, I mean, the greens we all know don't taste the greatest sometimes if there's no reds added to it already, but just get a red supplement as well, because those ones generally taste really great, and if you mix it together, even add it to your protein shake, you're going to be like aces, okay? On the go, pop into a grocery store, right? There are grocery stores just as frequently as there are fast food restaurants, so that is certainly not an excuse. You can drop in. Half the time they have prepackaged stuff anyway, which is cheaper than getting Wendy's or McDonald's or whatever you have in your part of the world. At a restaurant, you can just ask. They are there to make a meal that you want. Unless you're dining super high class, you can generally ask for vegetables and you will get them. In the morning, frozen veg. I've already talked about that. Late night snack, frozen veg or berries, right? If you're at a point where you've already worked out and you can have some carbs, frozen berries are beautiful at night, okay? Frozen veg at night, I love to have that. If I've worked out, I'll have peas, again with coconut oil and sea salt. Sea salt is great, especially for if you're, overworked, or a mom who's tired and suffering from some adrenal fatigue. That is a great addition, okay? And don't forget dried fruit. So the thing about dried fruit is it contains the same amount of sugar as regular fruit. It's just that we have a tendency to eat way more of them, right? Like if you think of raisins, if you have a handful of raisins, how many grapes does that actually equal? And would you eat that many grapes if you were just sitting down to eat grapes? Likely not, okay? So you just need to think about it in that sense. How much of this would I eat if it was fresh fruit? And then kind of do the math and eat the same amount in dried fruit, okay? On a note about that as well, if you are pregnant and you want to get some iron, that is a good idea too, okay? Okay, so here's some fun ones. Chips. We all have fun with chips. You can have kale chips, sweet potato chips, taro chips, apple chips, beet chips, zucchini chips. There are so many different varieties. You don't have to just, eat a bunch of steamed kale. You can have fun with it, right? Noodles. We all love these noodles and our little spiral laters or whatever those things are called. Or eggplant if you're making oh my gosh, a lasagna. My gosh, my words today. A lasagna is great with eggplant. Soups. You can add broccoli, you can add greens to anything. So if you already have a pre-made soup, when you're heating it up, just add a bunch of greens to it, right? They wilt down to just about nothing, but it's a beautiful addition to any soup, okay? Squash soups, of course, those are delicious. Smoothies, we've already gone over this, kale, spinach, anything else that you choose, and wraps, okay? You can wrap anything in either bib lettuce or romaine. So if you're having a burger, if you're having a hot dog, if you're having, a sausage, or just, you have some extra chicken, that you can pop into, make chicken salad with avocado and pop it into a wrap. It's a great idea. Snacks. I love to have seaweed snacks, the dried seaweed, or even seaweed salad. Wakame, if you've ever seen that, that's often available in grocery stores anywhere, or certainly if you're near a place that has sushi, it is always available there and is delicious, okay? Also, Greens Plus bars. In a pinch, grab a supplement, okay? They're filling and they're super good for you. So know where you're at. What is your starting point? Are you familiar with vegetables? Do you know how to cook them? Do you know what you like? Have you had a variety, or do you just walk in and are just like blown away by the vegetable aisle? Okay. Know where you're at, because that's how you know what you're going to do. If you're totally new, just buy some and chop it ASAP, okay? That's what your goal is for the next week, is to just get used to buying vegetables and prepping them so that they're ready for you, okay? You got it. That's a two-folded thing, because if you just buy them, like I said, they're going to sit in your drawer, in your fridge, because you're not used to incorporating them into your daily routine. If you're more experienced, you want to work on variety. So like I said, we're trying to get a greater nutritional profile. We want more different varieties of nutrients coming into our bodies, okay? Work on more. So if you're already eating vegetables, mostly work on getting more, choosing more opportunities where you can substitute a vegetable for something that doesn't serve you as much, okay? Work on experimenting, recipes, different cooking methods. Make it fun so that you're ultimately inspired, okay? So let's talk about what's stopping you. What are your limitations, okay? Let's really, really think about what would stop you from this. I mean, it translates into anything that you really want, but right now, if we're talking about vegetables, if it's time, let's reframe this one, baby. You got time to buy food, right? Because we have to. You're making things anyway, or you're ordering things anyway, depending on your lifestyle. It's what you can do right now. It's your choice what you prep and what you choose to eat. Remember, the way that you eat is not just happening to you. It is a process, and it is your choice. You can always supplement if you have a shift job or something. I know we've got some nurses and doctors and that kind of thing. So if you can't, sit down to a salad because you don't have time, you can certainly have like a drink, and just mix your vegetables or, greens or reds into that. No problem. And then you get it for the day, right? If it's money, you got to consider some cheaper options. So frozen. I know I mentioned this and I harp on it a lot, but every time I bring it up on one-on-one calls, you guys are saying, oh, I didn't think of that. Well, let's really think about the frozen stuff, because you can jump into the frozen aisle and generally there's a sale on something. So pick it up and really utilize this, because it's a great way to get them in. If you're considering others, what do I mean by that? Oh, considering others' opinions. Forgot what my own slide means. If you're considering others, so either others' opinions, meaning it could be children, or it could be a spouse or coworkers, or you feel like you're being judged in some way, I want you to think about what you're really considering. If it's kids, I know how difficult it is to get their vegetables in, so you might not want to prep it thinking they're not going to eat it, but you need to consider their health as well. And what you are doing becomes their normal. So even if it's challenging right now, the more they see that that is what is normal to eat, and a variety is normal, then that becomes what is normal for them. So, as they get older, things will get easier and they'll be able to eat that stuff, right? If it's somebody judging you, whether it's a coworker, a friend, a spouse, because you want to increase that, you need to go back again to what your goals are, because your goal has to matter more to you than somebody's opinion, right? Because that only means something if you decide that it does, because nobody at the end of the day is going to stop loving you because you're eating some vegetables. It's just not going to happen, right? So keep going. List all of your limitations, literally everything that you can think about. Break down what is limiting to you until you realize that most of it doesn't actually exist, okay? Or that it is your biggest obstacle because you can't find a solution yourself, okay? If there's actually something that you've realized doesn't, it truly exists, then it is your biggest obstacle, right? And I'm going to give you a hint. It's likely just your mind because I've gone over pretty much every scenario. And usually it comes down to our habits, our mind, our way of thinking, what's normal to us that gets in the way of truly being able to eat in ways that serve our goals. So what is one thing that you can do to overcome this, right? I mean, for you, maybe it's something else. If it is, please do feel free to share that with me and I can help you out with it. But what is one thing that you can do to overcome this? And do you want to commit to making this change, right? You have to. It has to be a commitment. It cannot be, I'm interested in doing this. You have to be committed to doing this. Interest leaves room for excuses. Commitment allows you to actually follow through with something, because that allows you to have an open mind, to be taught, to learn new things, all of that when you're committed in a way that just having an interest will never do. How will you hold yourself accountable? Okay, this is a big deal. Just like tracking any nutrition, if you don't track it, you don't know exactly what it is that you're doing, right? I like to do a couple of things. I love social media accountability. I think it's fabulous. For example, you could say something like, my coach challenged me to post my veggies for 1 week. So here it goes. And then every day, collage your vegetables. You don't have to post every single meal, but just collage it at the end of the day and post it, right? And tell people, please like this. I want you to hold me accountable. I want to do this every single day. I want to increase my nutritional profile and get more vegetables in. Lists, okay? We females, we love our lists, so let's do them. Well, I like to have it for chopping done for the day, new recipe done for the week, and then a check mark for each veggie-filled meal. I think that is a fabulous way to do it. And now if you look at your worksheets, I've provided you with a version of this that I created that I like to work with, okay? Use the tribe, use our group. You can challenge a fellow tribe member and then post in the group how you guys are each doing, okay? So your goal, like we mentioned in the beginning, is 80% compliance. So that we always leave room, right? But what we really want to do and achieve so that we can keep progressing and see some wonderful body composition changes is 80%. And that goes with everything. So we've worked on eating slowly. We've worked on eating to 80% full. We've worked on getting protein with every single meal. Now we're working on vegetables. And so keep working with all of those things that you've already learned and work for 80% compliance all the time. And the thing is that you have to know in your head that you're fully capable of doing all of these things. You've been experiencing them for the past few weeks, and that you always know that it is your mind that is going to be helping you to be either successful or to totally lose your way, right? And it all has to do with what you're going to give yourself permission to do. So let's say 80% compliance, 20% is, up, is that little bit that's up, that little window that we have in case it's just impossible in the moment, okay? Because that's a smart goal, okay? So have a look at your sheet. Again, this goes over everything that goes into a SMART goal. Know that it's all you. And be proud of that. Be proud to be able to take this upon yourself and know that this is your plan. What is your SMART goal, okay? What is that specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, timed goal, okay? And then what do you intend to do in order to get there? So it could be some of, the stuff that we've already gone over, whether that is protein, vegetables, hopefully, eating to 80% full, eating slowly, or anything that resonates with you for the next 2 weeks, okay? Write those down. And then here's your checklist. Did you complete your intentions for that day? Did you go into your day with those intentions? And how many of your meals did you get those vegetables in? Okay, so I hope that you've taken a lot from this today. I invite you to come into the Facebook group now, post anything in the comments below. I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say about this week and how you are getting your vegetables in. All right, have a beautiful week. Remember to keep sweating, and you have got this.